este firechat, Jason Della Rocca y Mario Valle, dos veteranos de la industria con trayectoria que abarcan desde el emprendimiento hasta la inversión internacional, conversarán sobre Investing in Mexican Indies, Learning from US to Canada. Juntos, explorarán las oportunidades, desafíos y aprendizajes que pueden aprovechar los estudios mexicanos, tomando como referencias ecosistemas maduros como los de Canadá y Estados Unidos. Será una charla inspiradora sobre cómo construir puentes entre comunidades, mercados y visiones en desarrollo. Muchas gracias, Jason y Mario. Welcome. Ready.
¿Cómo están? ¿Listos y listas para un día y medio? Todavía falta día y medio de Game Conference. Qué bueno. Quiero tomar estos minutos primero que nada para darle un reconocimiento al equipo detrás de Game Conference. Un aplauso, por favor, para ese comité organizador que se ha partido la madre desde hace meses para entregarle un evento de muchísima calidad, no solamente a la comunidad local y regional, no solamente a todo México, sino a toda Latinoamérica, porque seguramente algunos de ustedes ya platicaron con personas de otros países de Latinoamérica. I'm going to switch to English now, so
Sorry.
yeah, don't get scared. Definitely we were going to do English here. But I had to say hi in my language. So it's been a while since I met these gentlemen here. It's been almost 20 years, maybe, something like that. We've been, I mean, you can notice, we've been around.
We're old.
Yeah, we're old. There's a word in Spanish, is chavorruco. Chavorruco, which is a mix of young and old people. So we're two chavorrucos from the gaming industry. This guy being here, one of the most exciting people in the arena, not only of investment, but supporting governments, studios from a strategy and business strategy perspective. Someone that is respected worldwide. I'm serious about it.
Chavorruco.
Chavorruco, un chavorruco respetado. So it's very, such a privilege to be here with Jason. Yo no me escucho muy bien. ¿Se oye bien allá? ¿Se están escuchando bien? Okay, perfecto. So, we're here to talk about money, plain and simple. We're here to talk about business. Games, great. Awards, great. Artsy style, great. But right now, we're going to speak a little bit more beyond that. And this is something that I am very happy to report. I am in the very same page as Jason towards the year. This guy here is one of the persons that is responsible for ¿quién ha escuchado o quién fue o quién simplemente se enteró que hubo un Gamescom Latam? Álceme la mano. So Gamescom Latam is kind of chapter 3 of an effort that actually began just like this in Brazil, which was
even
called
smaller.
Big.
It was even smaller.
Even smaller. And this is where we had a lot of time together in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, an event like this that became Brazil Independent Game Show, Big, that towards the years evolved to what is now Gamescom Latam. So getting all the way into a chat, my friend, how don't you a little bit, in a fast way, give a quick photograph of who Jason Della Rocca is and why it's important to speak with you about investment, business, and the good stuff?
Yeah, well, and it's a privilege to be here. I've been to Mexico a few times. This is my first time in Guadalajara. So enjoying already some of the tequila and last night I had escamoles for dinner.
Escamoles, yes.
Escamoles, yeah. So taking advantage of the specialties of the region. So I've been in games for almost 30 years, and a lot of that has been around building developer success, enabling passionate artists and designers and programmers and creators to express themselves, to create what's in their mind, I mean, much like the inspiring video, right? Like creating realities and changing dreams and so on. But doing so in a context of commercial viability, so that you can do these amazing things, but also put food on the table and pay rent and build a career. And I think one of the challenges we see, not just in Mexico, not just in LATAM, but worldwide, is that the people with the passion, the people with the creative skills, are never really given the knowledge of the business side of things. Making a great game is hard work, but making a great game and also making business, that's a next level work that a lot of people don't get the training for, don't get the opportunities, they don't have events like this, they just don't, the doors are not opening for them. And so for almost 30 years, this is a lot of the work that I've been doing, helping internationally, creating incubators and accelerators, early stage funding opportunities, working on events and showcases as platforms for supporting creators such as yourselves to reach global scale, to get the right partnerships, to have the right knowledge and training opportunities and stuff like that. So in a very short way, that's kind of what I've been doing for about 30 years. We can get into some of the more details.
I will ask you, especially around the activities that you are doing right now or lately, but I will get to that. On my side, very quickly, Mario Valle de Altered Adventures, vivo en San Francisco, Toluco de nacimiento, Jalisquillo de corazón, aunque también soy medio infiel a otras regiones de México. Tenemos un fondo de inversión también desde el 2016, se llama Altered Ventures, orgulloso patrocinador e inversionista de Gamescom. La verdad, Games Conference ha sido un partner increíble y le auguro muchísimo éxito. Estamos desde Silicon Valley invirtiendo en Latinoamérica, en otros países también, alrededor de juegos y otras tecnologías. So, switching back to English again, one of the things that I want to talk with Jason here is, one thing that he mentioned is why it's important to make a game that is, yes, related to your passion, related or close to your heart, related to your intellectual exercises, commitments, values, etc., and why that is not or shouldn't be in conflict, but sadly in Latin America very often is. It's like the other way, or as opposed in the concept of making money. Towards the years, I've been having the privilege to work very closely with game developers in the region, in these and other emergent regions, as you. And sometimes in Latin America, it seems like it's a completely treason to yourself and to your creative process and to your creative commitment if you even dare to think about a business plan or building a studio or having an employee, structure, etc. Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, I see this all over the world, this kind of sense of the starving artist, that to create something truly beautiful and meaningful, you have to suffer for your craft. You not get money, go through pain and suffering. And this is a bit of a myth. In part, and you're a bit young here, but there was the movie, Indie Game the Movie.
Yeah, 2012 documentary.
Who's seen Indie Game the movie?
Indie Game?
Okay, so a few people.
You should see it. You should watch it.
It's a great movie, but it sort of reinforces the starving artist that you have to suffer to make something beautiful. And sure, in the when we're talking about art with a capital A, there's some truth to that. And if that's truly what you want to do, then fine, no problem. But then it's a hobby, then it's a side gig, and you earn a living some other way. But if you're actually trying to feed yourself and create a business and have a career and survive in the industry, then the passion alone is not enough. You need it. It has to be there. The beauty has to be there. But you also have to think about the commercial side of things. And so for too long, many developers see it in a binary manner. Either you are a starving artist making something beautiful, or you're a sellout, and you're making money.
You're in the dark side.
And you're the dark side. And the reality is, it's somewhere in between. That you can create beautiful, meaningful, innovative, compelling projects that also make money. And it's wrong to sort of frame it this way because making money is like a byproduct of having an amazing game that is loved by many people. The goal is not to make crap tons of money, right? Because we're creators, we're passionate. But if you make crap tons of money, it means that you have adoring fans. You have people who played your game.
You have provided a service.
Well, but you've provided meaning.
Meaning.
Someone
Meaning
has
is a better
played your
word, yeah.
game, they've laughed and they've cried and they've yelled and cheered, and you've shared your art with more people. If no one buys the game, that also means no one experienced your art. Which as an artist, also generally you want to make something to be experienced, to share your stories and, you know, et cetera. So it's like you're not actually doing it because you're a sellout. You're making money because you've tried to reach as many fans to have that experience. So this idea of like either you're a sellout or you're a starving artist making something beautiful, I think is the wrong sort of approach.
I completely agree.
And so I some years ago, I came up with a term called an indie entrepreneur, meaning you're creating something beautiful, meaningful, and that you're passionate about, but you're doing so in a context of commercial intent. And if you go back through and think of some of the most beautiful, meaningful games that you've played, oh, well, hold on a second, those probably also made crap tons of money. Well, I mean, I don't know, Hades or Celeste or, I don't know, which one?
Missed.
Hollow Knight, like all
Nobody
these
knows
things
you're
that
missed.
you're most passionate about, that you thought were beautiful and innovative and amazing. It's like when you think about it, it's like, oh crap, that also made tens of
money,
millions of
yeah.
dollars. So then why do you put yourself this kind of like, oh, I shouldn't be making money, and it's like Hollow Knight made millions, and it's a Limbo. Limbo is a masterpiece,
Inside.
millions, and yet we see those as works of art and masterpieces, but they also made a lot of money. So it's funny because going back maybe 15 years, I was the co-founder of something called Execution Labs, which was the first venture-funded game incubator in the world. And we were the first ones investing in startup or indie game studios and helping mentor them and coach them. It was the first one. No one else was doing this.
Yeah, I was there once.
Yeah, you visited. And we were investing in amazing studios and developers. And we, you know, they had the pitch, they had to go through a whole process, and we selected the best ones, and then we would give you a check for, you know, at the time it was $100,000, this is maybe 15 years ago, and some of the developers, they weren't sure if they should take the check. Even though they were starving, and they needed the money, and they had no budget for their game, they had this idea that, well, hold on a second, if I take this check, does that mean I'm a sellout now? And this is really the first time I had to start thinking about this like identity of the developer, starving artist versus a sellout, and sort of finding that middle, which is the indie entrepreneur, creating something meaningful in a commercial context. And then it still exists, like you still have that tension
It
today?
hasn't changed. Unfortunately, it hasn't changed. I'm one of the founders of an event that happened many years ago called the EGS. I don't know if you're familiar with it. The Electronic Game Show back in 2002. So I was one of the people who founded that. And in 2004, we organized the first, with government support, we organized the first, or one of the first, kind of like structurally organized competitions for game developers. So the amount of people that participated was maybe in the 20, 30, which was at the time decent. Unfortunately, the amount of, you know, money awards or support, etc., was very little at the time. It was what the government could make, what we could make, etc. So it was symbolic. But the mental attitude of the finalists of that competition, of being there, they were like, I'm being a sellout just to be,
They're uncomfortable.
I shouldn't be here. right? I'm getting photographs from Reforma and like these newspapers, right? I'm getting interviews, etc. And this is a dark side guy called Mario Valle, who is one of the founders, who is not even a developer, this bastard, right? And he's organizing interviews with media, etc. And their attitude back in 2004 was like, okay, I shouldn't be here. So let me just try to evolve the chat here to make sure that we end up going somewhere. For those, I bet the majority of you, or maybe 100% of you, because obviously this is an investment-related talk, so I'm sure that you guys are interested in money at some point. For these guys and for the people that doesn't have that problem, for that, kind of mentality, what is the first step they should take to make sure they are investment material? I have my own take here, but I will ask you first.
We can spend the whole day talking about this, but there's a few fundamental things. The first is understand in your own mind and own heart, what does success mean to you? And then if, let's say we're co-founding a studio, we're partners, we should have the conversation saying, okay, Mario, what does success mean to you? This is what success means to me. And there needs to be alignment. There's no right or wrong answer. The definition of success can be anything.
Right.
But if it's different, and we're about to start a studio, we're going to have problems. Let's say you do want to be a seller, you want to become rich and make millions and millions of dollars doing, asset flips and Candy Crush clones. You don't care because you just want to make money. And me, I want to win awards and get praise and be on stage at GDC and make something beautiful, And now let's start a studio together.
Who knows?
No one's right or wrong.
Right.
That's your version, this is my version. But if we start a studio together, this is going to be a very big problem. If you want to make Candy Crush clones and I want to make award-winning design,
that's true.
it's going to be problematic. So step one is, in your own heart, in your own mind, understand what kind of success are you trying to achieve. And that could be a mix of creative ambition, design, goals, commercial goals. Do I want to become, do I just want to build a studio that breaks even and makes enough money to make the next game? Am I trying to become rich, filthy rich? There's no right or wrong answer. But have that conversation, because then that will filter every other decision you make. So for example, if we say, okay, let's say we have our chat and we have certain creative ambitions, so we want to make beautiful games that could win awards, but we also want to make a profit. We also want to get paid and hire some staff and pay them wages and not go out of business. And then we sit down and we say, oh, well, we love point-and-click adventures as a genre. Mm-hmm. That's a cool game style, but point-and-click adventures, unfortunately, don't sell well in the market. It's a very hard, sorry if anyone's making a point-and-click adventure, but, puzzle platformers, point-and-click adventure, puzzle game. There's certain games that have much lower chance of succeeding, and then other games that have a much higher chance of succeeding, survival craft, city builders, forex strategy, these kinds of things. So if we sit down and say we have design ambitions, we have ambitions to be profitable, now let's make point-and-click adventures, we have not selected a style of game that will allow us to achieve the level of success that we want to achieve. And so oftentimes, choices are being made for creative or technical reasons. Oh, well, we have the skills and the resources and the tools to make a point-and-click adventure.
But not market reasons.
But we're not asking will this also enable us to achieve our commercial intent? So not only do we have to be aligned in terms of what we're trying to achieve, but we also have to align that with the kinds of games we make. If we really want to be crazy rich, okay, maybe we're going to go make MMOs, but that's a whole other scale, Anyway, so there's a step to align each other, but then align the kinds of games we're working on. And then the other, in many ways, just as critical piece is the audience. Who should your fans be? Yeah. And this step, nobody does it. Nobody does this step, and it's a mistake. Because to build a long-term sustainable studio that has the chance to succeed, you have to have a fan base. You have to build a community. And the more you are able to carry your fans from game one to game 2 to game 3, the more your success accelerates and the easier each launch of game becomes and the faster you'll make profits, et cetera, et cetera. The biggest mistake, and I was just telling this to this team outside, is they reset on every game. The first game is a sci-fi shooter. Did okay. Now you want to make a racing game. And then the next game is going to be like a wizard game. The next game is going to be a ninja game. Yeah, every time you change theme, change genre.
Like you're a new studio.
It's as if you're a new studio and you're starting from scratch. And all of the effort to market and build a fan base and grow a community, because the sci-fi nerds are not the same as the Harry Potter wizard fans, are not the same as the racing car fans. So there's a step, and again, nobody does this, is decide at the very beginning who are your fans, who should be your fans. Imagine you're going to have a party in 5 years and invite all of your fans. Who's in the room? And I don't mean your mother and your best friend and whatever. I mean, but you know. And so
everybody's fun.
I give the example. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I like Star Wars and Star Trek and the NASA and satellite. I love sci-fi. So if I'm starting a studio, I'm going to start a studio for sci-fi nerds. And then every game that my studio makes has to be a game that another sci-fi nerd will fall in love with. Now, it could be a sci-fi strategy Mars base builder. It could be a grand strategy space opera. It could be a moonlander physics puzzle game, whatever. But I have to imagine that all people who are sci-fi nerds could find my game, fall in love with it, fall in love with me as a studio, and want all of my sci-fi games over time. So now what happens, every time I make a new game, you know, the first fans become the fans of the next one. Yeah, you have a route. Becomes the fans of the next. And then I build a reputation in the industry for being the sci-fi studio. And I'm hiring people that also are sci-fi nerds. We're building tools and tech and pipeline and design skills that are all relevant to sci-fi. Yes. And so that's kind of an important step that almost everyone misses.
No, that's true. I hope you're taking notes. Espero que estén tomando nota porque esto está bien chingón. My quick take on that, and it's very close to one of the things Jason mentioned, is to be familiar with not your own vision, but to be familiar with the market vision. What the market wants, or what the market is buying, or what is like, it's like investigating the trending topics of Twitter. What is trendy outside? And what I can build that is aligned to my values, aligned to my taste, aligned to these steps that Jason is saying, but also aligned to the market needs or wants or trends. Because unfortunately, I work with a lot of startups that are non-game related. I work with a lot of founders. I've been investing in non-game related companies since 2011. And unfortunately, sorry if this is going to hurt, but the game developers are the founders and the entrepreneurs that are most blind to, on purpose, to what the market is and what the market wants. Son los más necios, cabrón.
Well, but I mean, it's an important message because, for example, as I was walking and looking at the studios, one of the young studios was making puzzle games. Yeah, very good. I played it. It was fun. But puzzle games don't really sell on Steam. Yeah. And even mobile, not so much. And it's fine. It was their first game, whatever. They're learning. And they said, okay, when this one's done, the next one, we think we're going to do a platformer. But the platformer genre is like the next worst selling game style.
Están perdidos.
Sorry for those making point-and-click adventure, puzzle games,
sorry, not sorry, cabrón.
You're all fucked.
Pónganse la pinche pila.
But so they were not asking these questions. They were not looking at the market. They were not.
Yeah.
They didn't have these conversations of what does success mean to us.
Yeah.
And so they were making decisions based on skill. What style of game do we think we have the skills to make?
Or taste. My own taste.
Yeah.
My own vision.
So, I mean, those are important decisions. You have to be,
yes.
You have to love what you make. You have to have the skills to make it. But the third question is, should I even make it?
But you shouldn't build up your skill set if what you like and what you're good at is a point and click,
Stuff.
right? I mean, it's
If it's a hobby, but again, what's your definition of success? If you have a day job and you're making
Well, yeah,
point and
okay.
clicks because you love them and you do it on the weekend,
Yeah,
and
but
and the goal is not to make money.
but
then
this
great,
firechat
I
is
know,
not
but this,
for
we're
them.
here to make money. Yeah.
so. Who is trying to get a little bit of money for their game? I want to see hands.
Yeah, most people.
Most people. That's good. Okay.
They should all come to my workshop.
Yes, I was actually going to say that at the end, but thank you for the spoiler. Why a business plan or a deck or something in fucking paper is important for these guys to have other than their blessed MVP / prototype? Why?
Yeah, well, I mean, now we're getting into a bit with some of the stuff that I'll cover in the workshop, but no deals are done with only a prototype now. I mean, before no deal was done with just like a concept.
Right.
This is almost impossible. If you have an amazing prototype, maybe like 1 in 10,000 get a deal. And now what they want is they want validation of market interest, right?
Please say that again.
Yeah, they want some proof that people will buy the game, that people will love the game.
So,
Yeah.
from the people who raised their hand, how many have a deck or a business plan or something close
Okay,
to
way
market
less.
validation? ¿Verdad, cabrones?
Yeah, but that's not even market.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
That's true. Continue.
Yeah, so the market validation, and again, I'm going to cover this in much more detail
In
the
the workshop.
But it means you're already starting to show your gameplay video, animated GIFs, screenshots, out in the wild, on social media, in Reddit, on TikTok, and you're starting to get a reaction from fans. Whether it means your TikTok video, of your 30 seconds gameplay teaser goes viral, whether you already put up your Steam page and you get thousands of wish lists, whether it's people are already coming to your Discord to talk about the game, or maybe you're running playtest. Again, I cover this in the workshop, but this now is real proof that there's players who think what you're doing is interesting and they want to be involved, and they're excited enough to wish list or follow or etc. So in many ways these days it's more important to focus on real player validation than worrying so much about the pitch deck and the business plan and this kind of stuff. So I'm less
But
worried
maybe
about
the pitch deck has that kind of documentation
In it.
related to the validation, right?
Correct. So one of my tips these days is don't make the pitch deck until you have market validation.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You're not ready.
That's
You-
beautiful.
You are
Explain a little bit more of that.
Because what'll happen is, if you put your pitch deck together now, nice screenshots, a timeline, budget, video, and it's just you in your cave with your partners and working on the game, you'll go to an event like this or Gamescom Latam or GDC or wherever, and you'll pitch, and the publisher or the investor will say, looks cool, but it's too early, come back later. And what most developers think is that they have to make more content, that the build is not ready. But really what the publisher is saying is, I don't see any validation from the market because I don't have a viral TikTok, I don't have Discord subs, I don't have all these kinds of things. And so the developers will misread what that feedback is. And so what I recommend now is don't bother pitching, don't even put the pitch deck together until you've gained the market traction.
That's a really good, good tip.
Oh, okay. We have 10 minutes.
That's fine. Okay, that was really, really good as well. So I don't want to spoil anything related or too deep into your workshop. Again, you should come. But when you're working in the prototype, when you're working in an MVP, or not MVP, but like what we call a vertical slice or something like that, whatever. I mean, I'm sure that you're going to cover in the workshop all the concepts, etc. But if you're meeting with an investor that maybe is not a gamer or is someone that doesn't have a lot of experience in the concepts related, but is excited about games or is excited about your game, if it's your uncle or whatever. I mean, I want to get away a little bit of the uncle example, but if it's an investor that is kind of angel investing their way into some kind of diversification approach, and one of those diversification approaches is games, what is the tip for these guys for them to show and what they should say to this person?
Well, I mean, again, it's market validation.
Yes.
Right, if you're, whether it's your uncle or whether it's a tech guy down the street that wants to diversify in games, they will not have the skills to really understand the style of game, the game mechanic, whether it's something special or not. But if you say, we announced it and we already have 100,000 wish lists, that alone is a signal that you're on to, or we did a teaser trailer and it went viral with 1 million views on TikTok, or a streamer picked it up and it got whatever million views. Like, I can know nothing about games, but I understand virality and I understand viewer interest.
That's important.
So once again, it comes back to building evidence or validation.
Which again is very close to community building.
100%. It is 100% community building. The other thing, on the topic of early stage investing, just as a tip, because my guess is that most of you in the room are doing like PC console premium games, right? I'm guessing everyone, show of hands, that's all. Or no, or geez, not. I got totally wrong.
¿Qué plataforma? Los que alzaron la mano.
Mobile, free to play.
Mobile? PC. So yeah, a lot of PC.
Oh, okay, so that's what I said, PC premium.
Yeah. PC?
PC. Yeah, okay, well there. It's
Okay. Console?
My pronunciation. Okay.
Mobile?
Okay.
Okay.
Then who is doing like paid, meaning $20 on like premium price?
Premium, todos son premium.
Premium.
¿Quién está haciendo freemium? Por el amor del cielo, nadie me levante la mano.
Well, then what the fuck business model are you using if it's not?
A ver, otra vez. Todos los que
Business
alzaron la mano que están buscando dinero para su juego, ¿cuáles son premium? Es decir,
Free
¿cuáles
or
van a
paid?
venderse?
Paid.
Paid, pagados.
Okay.
Ok,
And
perfecto. Todos los demás son juegos gratis con, no sé, microtransacciones o freemium. Álceme la mano.
Okay, like
Algunos. Ok.
the others don't know.
The others
They don't know.
are not. Yeah.
Okay, so for those doing PC with a premium business model,
Yeah.
they should not be taking equity investment as a VC.
That's interesting.
No, because a small indie studio working on premium games, the equity is not worth anything. So if your uncle invests and they buy 10% of the studio, they're going to be holding a piece of paper for 15 years. So you should always do it on a revenue share basis. If you're using premium business model, you should only do a rev share deal.
Which means this is something that we did in Altered Ventures in the first stage of the fund back in 2016, which means si necesitas 25, 30 mil dólares para terminar el juego, por decirte uno, I'm going to switch quickly to Spanish here, ahí te van 30, 50 mil dólares, pon tú, lanzas el juego, no me des un pedazo de tu compañía, me vas a dar how much in percentage is a good thing for them,
Depends how big
or
the
a standard.
10%, 5%?
10%, 5% of the rev share?
Yeah, the rev share.
Because sometimes they go 100% until recoup,
no,
which is...
No, that's the evil publishers.
Yeah.
No, what I would do is you cap it. So let's say your uncle gives you $50,000
Yeah.
as a investment in the project. What you do is you say, okay, I'll give you half the revenue until you return the 50,000.
Until you recoup. So
And then-
that's 50%
Yeah, let's say,
of
for
rev
example.
share, okay?
And then after you recoup, then I give you 20%.
Muy decente.
Till you 3 times recoup, or 3 times your investment, so 150,000.
And then
after that, I put it to 5 lifetime.
That's
I mean,
good.
I mean,
That's good. That's
there's
good.
no rules, but something like that. So it allows you to kind of return the money to your uncle fairly fast.
Right.
And then if the game continues to sell, they kind of still participate long.
So that's a great tip there for the PC, right? I mean, no equity means nobody's going to own a piece of your studio. And I think it's fair to them as well because, they're going to participate from the sales of your game. So that covers one of the other questions that we had. I think that we have like 5 minutes. ¿Vamos a tener tiempo para preguntas de allá para acá o...? ¿Sí? ¿Cuánto tiempo queda? 5 y luego 5 y 3 preguntas. Vale. So last 2 questions for you, my friend. And I will try not to be biased on my question because you know me, I'm from Mexico. Even though I live in Silicon Valley, I've been very close to Latin America since the day I went there. But I am one of the people who believes that now is the time for emerging markets, particularly Latin America, Southeast Asia, some parts of Central Europe and Eastern Europe, etc. I know you're very close to those markets too. Why is the Latin American indie developer in a good position now?
Yeah, so success can come from anywhere. The location in the world no longer matters. Like you don't have to be from San Francisco or London or Berlin or Tokyo. Success is coming from everywhere in the world. So the fact that you're here or anywhere else, you have just the same chance that everyone else has. And then also, what we're seeing today is that team size, meaning the number of developers on the team, does not equate to success. More and more, we're seeing successful game, blockbuster, million sellers, coming from 1 person, 5, team of 10, small teams. So almost in the first time in the last 20 years, team size does not align with success.
Is this AI consequence?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is AI, part of it is Unreal and Unity.
Of course.
Part of it is the knowledge that everyone has. They're going to school. There's so much information online about how to make games and so on. There's tools and assets. Like we have so much more to work from, to start from, that team size doesn't mean or doesn't equal success. So you can be anywhere in the world, a small team, and create a game for global success.
Cool.
So why not right here with the people in the room? And already I'm seeing many...
And that's actually the reason why I do believe that the room to grow from Latin America is in the best place, in my opinion. So last very question, then we move to some questions from the audience if there is 1 or 2 or 3. Why, let me give you a very quick background, especially for you. I'm sure that you know this, but from the top of my head, worldwide gaming industry value is something in between, depending on who you ask, is something in between 180 billion to $220 billion, which is by far, in terms of entertainment and tech, the biggest freakest industry in the world. If you remove hardware and if you remove, other services non-related to software only, software only is close to 90 billion, okay? From these 90 billion software only 5 to maybe 7 billion are indies. A little bit bigger?
I would probably make it... Yeah, so last year was the first time that almost half of the revenue on Steam came from indies.
From indies.
So
how much
that's
you would say is
20 billion.
Indie market, other than news, close to 15 maybe?
Yeah, probably closer to 15.
15? Okay, let's go to 15. So I'm giving these numbers just to ask you your opinion on what needs to happen in the world. I'm not talking about any region specific right now. What needs to happen to make the indies kind of rule the software again?
Audience alignment.
Audience alignment, yes.
So the superpower of indies is that you can have a direct relationship with your audience, with your fan base.
Right.
EA can't do that. Ubisoft can't do that. They're big corporations with teams, and it's very anonymous and faceless. Yeah. Whereas you are the creator, you're the one building your games. You can have a direct relationship with your community and your fan base, and that's what will give you resilience and sustainability over time to create success when the big studios are struggling to have that relationship with their fans. So this is really where the indies have that superpower to connect with their audience, connect with their fans. But
it gets back again to community building.
you have to decide, is it sci-fi nerds? Is it war fans? Is it race car?
Right.
You have to pick and then commit, and then that's what's going to give you the magic to succeed long term.
That's a major takeaway. Round of applause to Jason here. Y 3 preguntas. Acá hay una, acá hay otra y ahí hay otra.
¿Podrían parar para las preguntas, por favor?
Thank you very much for your words. I have a question that it's really regarding all the information and all the data that we can access, actually. Because in the market today, we know that the data is out there, but as indie developers, we do not possess such databases that can actually tell us which is the market size that we have to work with, or which are the things that we need to know exactly about all our audience to be able to do the pertaining choices. Yeah. So my question in that regard is, how do you get possession of such data?
Yeah. You're on PC? You're Steam mostly?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have SteamDB.
Okay.
There's a website called Game Discover Co. Do you know Game Discover Co?
No, I
so
didn't.
So Game Discover, it's like a discovery website that looks at the marketing and which games are trending for wish lists.
Okay.
So it'll show you which styles and genres are hot. So Game Discover Co. You have another website, howtomarketagame.com, that every few months he releases data and will show which genres are performing on Steam. You have another one called VG Insights that has a lot of data you can dig into. What else? I mean, those are the main ones. You would use VG Insights. I mean, Newzoo, but Newzoo is more macro, global. Yeah, industry, high level. So VG Insights, SteamDB, Game Discover Co., howtomarketagame.com. These already will be a huge thing, and all free.
Thank you very much.
I believe they have like Patreon. You get a little bonus, or there's higher tiers. But the basic free options will already give you a ton of information. So you can start with those.
Thank you very much.
Gracias. All right.
Okay, yeah. After that, thank you so much for the time, for the talk. Very, very useful information. And my question is, what are the top metrics that you review for investing a game? It's maybe number of wish lists, number of users in a community, the background of the studio, I don't know.
Yeah. So I cover this exact topic in my workshop at 5 o'clock in much more detail.
I'm here.
But I know not everyone's going to be in the workshop. For me, the number one metric for validation is the average playtime of your build. Meaning you're getting playtesters inside the early builds, the alpha, the beta, private. So not early access, not demo public, but private playtest, and measuring how long do they play. And if it's a few minutes, then you're in trouble. If they're playing for 1 hour or more, now we know you have a good game loop that's sticky and engaging. So from a developer point of view, I'm really focusing on average playtime of playtesters in my early builds of the game. And if I can get it up to 1 hour, then I'm in good shape.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the most tangible. Of course, wish lists, viral videos, likes on Twitter, like all of that also good, but the most meaningful one is average playtime.
More playtest, less
and playtesting.
speech.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
Very
thank
good.
you.
Gracias. Okay, and then the last.
Sure, I'll try to make it quick. And I'll try to go back to the part where you were saying that it's maybe a mistake trying to not having a very clear line between the artistic part of it and the business part of it. Yeah. And I also believe that in Mexico, or at least in Latin America, that happens a lot because of the very social, very different social obstacles that we face. from the economic to education to whatever you want to name. So that's why it's a little surprising for me that you say that it doesn't really matter where you come from at some point. Well, I believe that, and that's my question, how do you start to draw the line between that dreamy kind of development and try to really focus on the commercial part? My immediate thoughts are around mechanics and what you can offer and therefore translate to an economic part, but I don't know, it's hard for me to really focus really on the game and separate it and then also remember that it's a business.
Yeah, I mean, so for your first comment, there's maybe two parts to it about like being here. And so right now, if we decide to start a studio and build a game and release it to the world, there's nothing stopping us. There's no obstacle. It's not easy, and maybe we don't have access to funding, we don't have access, but nothing is in our way. So this is what I mean, you can be anywhere in the world and have success. Now sure, if you happen to be in a country that has incubators and seed funds and government grants and free education and minimum, it's much easier to reach that success. So sure, there's two sides of the coin. Fair point. In terms of the genre and mechanics, one of the big insights is replayability. And there's sort of two categories, very broad categories of games. Games that are more consumable. I play them once and I'm done. A short linear narrative game, small adventure game, 2-3 hours, 6-7 hours, and it's like I just take the actions and I save the world and the game is done and I never play it again. So we'll call that a consumable game. It's like reading a book or watching a movie. I play the game, it's done. There's another style of game that I would call a unique situation generator that is infinite. I can replay, every time I play is different. So for example, a consumable game is like a movie. A unique situation generator game is like chess or football. Football is infinite. Football never will end. Every match of football is its own story, its own adventure, and you just have rules. And from there, the drama emerges from the systems. So developers who pursue more consumable experiences, short linear narrative games, often point-and-click adventures, or walking simulators, or platformers, right? I do 10 levels and I beat the final boss, the game is done. These games are struggling in the marketplace as a meta framework, consumable. Games that are replayable, city builder, strategy games, physics, like whatever, these games, much more success. And one of the reasons is the effect of Twitch and YouTube. That if I watch my favorite streamer play a consumable game, then I also have consumed that game. Never played it, never bought it. I watch it, I laugh, I cry, I cheer, and I've seen the whole game, and the ending will be the same for me because it's a linear game. Whereas when I watch the unique situation generator, I'm yelling at you, oh, you suck, don't do this, do a different strategy, how come you didn't? And then I'm motivated to buy the game and do it my way. And then keep watching the videos and read the wiki pages for better strategies and different approaches. And so Twitch, for these kinds of games, has an amplification effect. And when you see a game like Among Us go viral because they saw it on Twitch, it's because of this reason. So already, as a designer, don't do games that are consumable because you're likely going to make $0. So apply your creativity, skills, art, but something that at least can be more systemic, more emergent, as a grand meta framework, way more chance to succeed, almost certain death. So this is how I would answer that question. All right. So, 5 o'clock. I don't know where the other side, I'm doing a workshop. Is it full or can people still, the workshop? Maybe it's full.
It is full.
Oh, it's full. Sorry.
Sí,
Okay.
pero es en Auditorio Torre C aquí enfrente para los que se registraron.
And I also give another lecture tomorrow at the end of the day on production timeline stuff, which touches on all this. Okay, we'll get off the stage now.
Meanwhile, thank you for sharing all your experience here with us. And we have this recognition for
Oh,
you
my goodness.
guys.
I
Thank
get,
you,
I get a file
Mario.
folder. Oh, wow,
Okay.
wow.
This is
Oh,
for
my
you.
goodness.
Give me your bottle.
From Guadalajara. Oh, wow.
And
Okay, we're taking
big
a picture.
applause for our speakers, please. Aquí con el público. A ver, yo salgo.
Okay, everyone. Todos felices. 1, 2, 3, Game Conference. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Otra vez. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Yeah, just leave it.